Welcome everyone to Influential Leadership Tips. My name's Dave Miller.
I'm John Hadley. Dave, I was doing a workshop last night, I've done a few times, on helping your family cope with the search and the psychology around that. And one of the questions I asked people was, how many of you have a spouse who clearly knows what you do and the value you bring to the table in that role? And the only hand that went up was a good friend of mine who leads the group. And that made me think, this is a common trap we run into, but it's not just about your family. If you want to create opportunities to be a better leader or opportunities to get into a leadership role, you need to make sure that all the people of influence who surround you, who are in your network, have a clear picture of not what your title is, but what you contribute, what value you bring to the table, what problems you solve. Because that's what engages people, and that's what equips them to say, oh, Dave could be really useful on this project or in this role, or I wonder if he might be interested in a new opportunity because look at the great things he's done.
And I think what you're saying, John, is you're not saying that we have to be constant self-promoters out there. What you are saying, though, is that you don't want to be the best kept secret either.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think back to when I was part of Unum, and they created this leadership group where once a year, all VPs worldwide were invited to come up to Portland for a couple of days meeting, and then we went to the board meeting. And so this was the one chance to meet the CEO, who, because I'm down in Piscataway, he's up in Portland, when am I going to run into him? And so he's shaking hands with everyone. And so what am I going to say to him? Well, I could say, I run the actuarial department down at Commercial Life. Big whoop. That won't make me memorable. That won't make him say, he's someone I should watch. Or I could say, for example, well, most recently, I created an experience analysis system that's letting us pursue rate actions we could never have hoped to have gotten approved before. Now, that's just giving him an example of something, some way I've added value, something I've done that might make him say, oh, that's interesting. He might be someone I should keep an eye on. So just being prepared with a simple statement when you run into that influencer that you don't see very often, or when you're having a networking meeting, taking advantage of it to actually give them, not a laundry list of all the things you've done, but one or two simple examples of problems you've solved or results you've created can really make a big difference in the engagement factor and how memorable you become.
Right. Or having stories, having examples.
Yeah.
So that, because people don't necessarily get what you do, they don't necessarily understand what you do, even with a simple statement or a simple example. So stories captivate people, they remember them, they'll really get it. Mm-hmm. And again, you can weave them in. It's just an interesting exchange you can have with someone because you want to understand what they do as well. So you can do this in a conversational way with a story, set of stories that provide good examples, so someone will remember, hey, I know Dave does this.
Right. When I give a 30-second pitch at a networking group where everyone's expected to stand up and make a little pitch, what I tend to do is I give about a 2-sentence story, an example of how I've helped someone, instead of, let me tell you the things I've done, let me tell you my title. And that creates a lot more engagement. It makes people remember, makes them more curious. Oh, wow, interesting. Let me ask them more about that. So the homework I would give everyone is think about what you could say. Think about a 1 or 2 line answer you could give to what do you do, or a statement you can make to an influencer that might equip them to have a good picture of the contribution you make. And what I'd invite you to do is write it down and send it to us, and we'll give you some critique on it. So here's a chance to get some real life feedback on what you could do to make that more effective, to equip yourself to really go out and get a better chance of creating opportunities for yourself.
Sounds good. We'll see if people meet up with that challenge, Sean.
Right. That's what I wanted to share, and look forward to talking to you all next week.
And until then, be influential.